Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to the Honest Aquarian podcast. This is probably, well, not probably, this is going to be my last podcast of 2017. I will be back 2018, of course, to bring you new podcast episodes. Today, I'm going to talk about my latest blog piece that I posted a couple of days ago. It probably is the most viewed blog that I have since I started this whole blog, started blogging. So it's getting a lot of traffic. A lot of people are definitely reading. They're sharing it with friends. I'm getting a lot of feedback about how the blog has helped them, how it's really given them insight on narcissism. And so the blog I posted the title was N is for Narcissism, the 12 stages of a relationship with a covert narcissist. And in that blog, I'm discussing my personal relationship with my personal experience in a relationship with a covert narcissist. Now, I truly thought I had disabled my notifications, but clearly, and I even tried to put my laptop to sleep on Do Not Disturb. Don't know what happened, so there's a notification that just came through, so I do apologize if that happens. I'm trying to get better at that. I think I disabled all my notification sounds, so we should be good. So back to the podcast. I created this blog, and this blog was about a year in the making. And as I said earlier when I first started this podcast, that these episodes would be an extension of the blog. So I'm going to go a little more in depth into that blog, because one thing about me is, as a writer, I can go all day writing, and it turns into a novel. So even though the blog that I posted on www.thehonestaquarian.com, it's long, and I even warned the readers that it's a very long piece, but it's there's a lot of information in there, and I didn't want to break it up into two pieces. At first, I was going to break it up into two parts, and just have the first part be about the first maybe 5 stages and then go into another. But I was like, no, let me just give it to everybody all at once, and then do the podcast 2018. We can continue on if need be, because it's a very broad topic, and there's so many different versions of narcissism that it's really hard to break it down all in one piece. So what I've been doing is just really going off of the feedback I'm receiving from the readers. I had someone recently tell me that they would like for me to talk about how to move forward and how to heal from the aftershock of dealing with a narcissistic person. And those relationships can be very hard emotionally, mentally, especially if there was emotional, verbal, and physical abuse. In my particular situation, it was just emotional. And I will take full responsibility in the fact that I contributed to the madness in that relationship. I'm not going to put it all on that person. I contributed to that craziness and the toxicity of the relationship. And I'm going to get into that more into when I do part 2 of how to move forward, how to heal, things that you should do while you're healing, and just my personal journey and what I did when I got out of the relationship with the person that I was with. And he exhibited a lot of covert narcissistic traits. So I'm going to talk about the different stages of a relationship with a covert narcissist. I'm not saying that this person was clinically diagnosed with covert narcissism. This person was merely exhibiting the traits And I put this disclaimer in my blog as well that, only a licensed therapist or, psychologist, whoever, and licensed mental health professional can diagnose someone with a personality disorder. But I will say this, in my, initially when I broke up with my ex, I went back to therapy. That was a trigger for me to go back to therapy because I realized that there were some things I was doing in that relationship and that I was allowing in that relationship to hinder me. And that wasn't good for me. And the things that were happening were not good for me as a person. And they most likely, from his perspective, they weren't good for him as well. But I was talking to my therapist and I told her how, how I was feeling, the different things that were transpiring in the relationship, things that he was doing, things that I was doing. And she said, he sounds like he might be a bit of a narcissist. And I remember just stopping in my tracks and I'm like, whoa. And I remember someone else close to me, that knew a lot about what was going on in my relationship. They made a comment too. They were like, he sounds like he might have some disorders going on. And this is not to make the person look bad or to make them seem like I'm not here for that. I'm not here to bash anybody. I want to explain my experience. I want to share my experience because I feel like a lot of people need it. And I did not realize how prevalent narcissism is. I mean, so many, and I also believe it's loosely placed on people as well. But for the most part, it's this thing that you really, it goes beyond, narcissism goes beyond someone with a big ego or a jerk or somebody that's egotistical. It goes beyond that. It's a deeper thing. It's an inflated self important and delusional. The person who has narcissistic personality disorder is very delusional. And they don't have boundaries as far as when it comes to other people. Like they expect people to, and I used to tell my former partner this all the time. I said, you want people to do as you say, but not as you do. He could do something to me and totally feel it was justified. But if I did that to him, then it was, I have disrespected him. I have challenged him. I don't appreciate him. It would just go so far. And I'm like, and I would tell him, I'm like, you did the same thing. So why are you getting mad at me? And I told him, I said, you like to tell people you like to do things to people that you don't want done to you. And that's not fair. But narcissists don't play fair. They don't care about fair. The only thing they care about is what about themselves, really. All they care about is themselves. So let's start this episode. I'm going to start off with the formal definition of a narcissist. So according to the MayoClinic.org, their website, a narcissistic personality disorder is a mental condition in which people have an inflated sense of their own importance, a deep need for excessive attention, and admiration, troubled relationships, and a lack of empathy for others. But behind the mask of extreme confidence lies a fragile self-esteem that's vulnerable to the slightest criticism. And let me just say something about that last part. Narcissists are very, very, very sensitive. They're hypersensitive to criticism. And I can recall several experiences where I would feel like I was giving constructive criticism, but the other person was taking it like they would always take it the wrong way. They would always take it the wrong way. Here we go with those notifications again. I'm sorry. I'm going to get myself together at some point, and I don't even know which one it is and what happened here. Because it was a weird notification, so it sounds like it was something that. Anyways, sorry guys. But yeah, back to the hypersensitivity of the narcissist. They don't want you to say anything to them that makes them feel like they're less than. They'll just go off. They're very sensitive, and then the whole mood changes. they're mad for the rest of the night, and then you have to deal with, and that's another thing. With a narcissist, everything's about manipulation and control. So their behaviors are, the negative behaviors that they exhibit are to modify who you are, your behavior, and control it. So if you come into the relationship being assertive, direct, no filter, the narcissist will try to modify your behavior and teach you through their behavior. Meaning, if you are a person that speaks your mind, a person that doesn't take any stuff from them, they're going to teach you how to not do that anymore by silent treatment, revenge, all that kind of stuff. They're going to punish you, and I'm going to get to that. But it's all about manipulation and definitely control with the narcissist, because they have to be in control. Anytime they're not in control, they lose it. So we just talked about here the definition of narcissism. So like I was saying, it's their ego is pretty much their ego, how people feel about them, their appearance. It's all based on public admiration. The way the public views a narcissist is very important to them and to the narcissist. So they're always going to be most likely the covert. Let's talk about, and I'm going to be specific. The covert narcissist is normally comes off very introverted, very shy, very coy, very, doesn't say much, but behind closed doors, they are monsters. And the person that I was with he was very quiet, introverted. People love him. And what they don't know is this is the same person who is very emotionally and at times was verbally abusive. And I was too. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was verbally abusive back, because I'm a reactive person. Well, I used to be a reactive person until I started really changing how I've, changing myself and making the necessary adjustments that I need to make within. But we were both verbally abusive towards each other, so I'm not going to make it seem like it was just him. But they're verbally abusive, but they feel like, unlike for people like me, I'll say this, empathetic people who, normal people will understand and know, okay, I probably shouldn't have said that. That was wrong. The narcissist will justify what they're doing, the bad behaviors that they're doing. They'll justify it, and they'll say, well, they will apologize, because they know that they don't want to come off, because it's to keep you around. They don't want to come off like they're totally like heartless. Like, they're not going to do that, because they need to keep you around for supply. They're getting something out of their relationship with you. So it's not about you. So before you even think, oh, they love you, they care about you, everything is about them. So keep that in mind. Even if they come off like they love you, they don't. It's all about themselves. So the narcissist will they'll fake it. So they'll pretend to be empathetic. They'll pretend to care. And really, it's just to make you stick around, and hopefully you'll give them something back in return, as far as showing the same, you'll continue being that loving, caring, and good person that you are, because that's who they suck the life out of. They suck the life out of people like us, who are good people, who probably aren't really catching on to what they're doing until it's too late. Because if you notice, narcissists don't really get with people who are just like them. It's very rare. It's not to say it doesn't happen, because it does happen, but they usually get with good people. And in this particular situation, the verbal abuse was it would happen. And then later on, they will say, I'm sorry for what I said, but I just get, I just get so mad when you do this. So they're always going to make you the reason why they were so mean to you. It's never because, I didn't have any self-control. I'm working on that. I need to get myself together. It's never going to be that. It's going to be because you did something that they didn't like and you deserved it, but they know they shouldn't have said it. So, so those are some of the things that you can expect to see from a narcissist. Also, narcissists are really good with attaching themselves to highly successful people. And it's not always going to be a highly successful person, but most of the time it is you're going to have some sort of success because they like to brag. The covert narcissist likes to brag about their partners. However, that same thing that they're bragging about, they're going to use against you later on. And I'm going to tell you, and we're going to go into the devalue stage when they start devaluing you and they start getting jealous of you and they start resenting you for being who you are. So remember, highly successful people are what makes the narcissist, stick their chest out. And a lot of times, if it's a male narcissist, if he's dealing with a highly successful woman, he's going to brag to his friends, brag to his family about how great she is. Well, she does this for a living. She's going to school for a master. She's going to school for a PhD. She's associated with this person. She's associated with that. She's in a sorority. She's in, those kind of things make the narcissist feel very high, very, look at me, look who I'm with, because that gives them value. But after a while, they're going to start using that same, those same things to hurt you. So we're going to talk about that. Also, and I discussed this in the blog too, if you've ever been in a relationship with a narcissist, it doesn't matter if they're covert, overt, malignant. There's so many different types. And malignant narcissists are malignant narcissists and covert narcissists are probably the two most dangerous types of narcissism, and they're really hard for. And thankfully, I will say this: I'm thankful that I was able to recover from the abuse a little easier than a lot of people that I've been in contact with who are dealing with this, and it saddens me because there are people who have been in relationships with narcissists who are so hurt, and they're like, I've been in a relationship with a narcissist, and we broke up 10 years ago, and I'm still dealing with the after effects of it. And it's sad because one thing about the covert narcissist or narcissism in general, once you are in relationship with them and it's a long-term relationship, once you get out of it, the damage is already done. So you're pretty much doing damage control, trying to undo everything that they've done to you. And it's not easy getting past it. It's so hard getting past the abuse. It's so hard getting past the words that they say because they have conditioned you to believe that everything bad that has happened in that relationship is your fault. So, and for me, because I knew that I had some issues and I knew there were things that I needed to correct, I would accept blame because I'm like, well, yeah, I do get a little feisty when, I get upset. And I'm a very reactive person. So I don't go out looking for fights. I don't go out looking for arguments. But once it comes to me, it goes from 0 to 100. And it used to. I'll say that it used to. I've learned to. I just have a different mindset now. So. And this is a year in the making. This is a year in the making. It didn't happen overnight. So you're in this relationship with a toxic person. You have your own toxicity going on. It's just a mess. And then at the same time, we would tell each other we love each other so much. We can't wait to get married. And it's like, I'm so glad we didn't because I can't imagine. I probably wouldn't be doing this podcast. I wouldn't be doing the things that I'm doing now if I was still in a relationship with that person. And that's the good side of of breaking up with a narcissist is that they hold a mirror to who you are. Because you look at yourself and say, well, why would I deal with somebody who tells me that, I'm wrong for feeling the way I feel or my feelings aren't valid or, I deserve to be treated like this. You know what I'm saying? So those are things that you have to unlearn. And it starts with, and a lot of people don't like to admit it, but the reason why we take on these narcissists and we have these types of relationships is because of how we feel about ourselves. And a lot of people get angry when they hear things like, lack of self-love, no boundaries, low self-esteem. All those kind of things contribute to why we allow people like the narcissist to come into our life, because a person who really loves themselves, they'll they won't tolerate it. They'll say, you know what, I love myself a little too much to allow you to make me feel like I'm not worthy to be loved, or I'm not worthy to have nice things, or I'm not worthy to be in a relationship with someone that treats me well. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things, and I'm going to talk about that in my next blog. I'm going to talk about, how we can move forward. And one of the things I tell people that ask me this, I say, it starts with therapy, really, because there's times, usually when you're coming out of a relationship with a narcissist, you're so confused, you're frustrated, you're hurt, you're disappointed, you're angry. You have all these different emotions going on. And the only way to really, 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 really get yourself to reset is to start talking to someone that's in therapy, because they're going to see things that you can't see because you're so all over the place. And that can be with your pastor, that can be with a spiritual leader in your church, it can be an actual therapist at a clinic or medical, a private practice. It can be any of those people. Wherever you feel comfortable, wherever you feel that this person is fitting to your needs, and be upfront and tell them, I'm coming to you because I've just got out of an abusive relationship. And let me just pause right there. I said earlier that people get caught up in the label of narcissism, but really it's because what I found is that, and I did this too for a while, what I found is that many people will say, well, I'm trying to figure out if my partner that I'm with now is a narcissist. So they'll start listing all these things. They'll start listing all these behaviors that the narcissist is doing. And then it's kind of like they're trying to do this criteria, this checklist. But toxic behavior is toxic behavior. Emotional abuse is emotional abuse. So don't focus so much on if the person you're with is a narcissist. Focus on the fact that you're in a relationship that's abusive. The person isn't treating you well. Anytime there's manipulation, anytime there's triangulation, anytime there's any kind of negative, mentally abusive behaviors in your relationship, you don't need to be in that relationship. Simple as that. I don't care if the person's a narcissist. I don't care if they are whatever. You don't need to justify, but you don't need to have a checklist to determine if someone is not treating you well in a relationship. So I wanted to say that if listening to this podcast and you're trying to determine if the person you're with is a narcissist, that's fine, but also understand that it goes beyond just the label. You look at the behavior. If the behavior isn't right, if the behavior isn't conducive to, if it makes you uncomfortable, if it makes you feel bad, if you're always feeling bad in your relationship, it's time for you to really do inventory on that relationship and find out why you're feeling bad and find out if this person is a person that you should be with. So anyways, let's get started with the first stage of a relationship with a covert narcissist. So the first thing I wrote about, the first stage was love bombing. This is also known as the idealization stage. In this stage, the narcissist is pouring it on thick. They are, oh my God, they are influencing you with this tactic. So what they're doing is they're giving you excessive attention, excessive affection. They will shower you with compliments. They will tell you how happy they are with you. They'll tell you that you're their soulmate. They'll tell you that they have never dated someone like you. They'll just say, all these different things. They'll talk about how beautiful you are, how pretty you are. Also, narcissists are not only men. It's not gender specific. Men and women can be narcissists. So please do not take it as me male bashing or saying only men can be narcissists. Women are too. In my research, I have read stories of people saying, I was with this girl who did this, this, and this, narcissist. And so it might manifest in different ways for women. And in some of the ways it is the same as men. But I just wanted to put that out there too. Disclaimer number 2. But yeah, let's go back to love bombing and idealization. So this person is going to pile it on thick. In a matter of weeks of dating them, they're already telling you that, they love you, and they're on cloud nine with you. In return, the new target, the person that they're dealing, they're love bombing, is she's on cloud nine too. So in my experience, when I first started dating this person and talking to them, they had just got out of a long-term relationship where they were engaged. And also it was long distance. So we had pretty much connected through social media, and I'll talk about social media later too. We had connected through social media. So we were texting, we were instant messaging, and he had even posted on his page that he was single. So I knew, from what I know, he wasn't with anybody. So I'm thinking we're texting, and he seemed to be this really straight up guy, had good head on his shoulders, really nice guy. And I had known him also from years of previous, years ago. So we had kind of like a little history. We were from the same state, so we had a little bit of a connection. However, and I've always known him to be a nice guy, nice family. Some of his family members know my family members, so it was that was like an icing on the cake. And so he's telling me how, attractive I am, and it was just really awesome to me. And he's liking everything I'm posting on Facebook, and even some people that I was close to noticed. They were like, well, who's that guy that's always liking everything you post? And it was really good. I loved it, and I really saw a future with this person, because I'm like, wow, he seems to be a good guy. We're about the same age. We're both looking for love moving forward. And he would always ask me, you trying to get married, trying to have kids? And I was like, dang, that's kind of, soon to be asking me that. But I'm like, okay, he's not trying to waste time. That's what I'm thinking. And that's what, with the covert narcissist, the reason why it's so hard sometimes to detect it is because they say things that people, it's very subtle. So anybody who is in a relationship who's older, mid 30s, late 30s, that's what they normally would ask, because that's what you do when you're dating and you're at the point in your life where you want to be married and you want to have children. So it doesn't come off as crazy or out of this world, because hey, but it's because the motives of the covert narcissist are hidden. You don't see it until much later. So while we're talking, through text messages and phone calls, I'm feeling like, okay, this could possibly go somewhere. It's long distance, but we'll see where it goes. So fast forward, and then that's another thing. We were texting. He was texting me every day. Like every day he would text me, and I'm like, wow, this guy's long distance. He probably has his pick of any woman he wants to be with, and he's texting me every day. He must be really interested. So anyways, like I said, most healthy relationships, these things do happen, but when it comes to the narcissist, there's a hidden agenda behind what they're doing, and it's usually to keep you on a pedestal, because what they're going to do later is they're going to knock you off that pedestal. So they get you, the compliments will constantly come, is to get you. And then there's a part, biologically, there's a part of the brain that when you hear compliments and you're hearing about how great you are, you become addicted to that, and you become used to it. So what happens when the narcissist is building you up and telling you how great you are, and oh, you're so great, and I never found a woman like you, you're my soulmate, that puts you, that gets things going biologically, physiologically for you. So once the narcissist starts that devalue stage, you're conflicted. Dissonance really sets in heavy, because you're like, he's such a great guy though, so you're just dismissing it as, okay, this is just his underside. These are just things about him that, everybody has a side to them that, it's not always that great. So that's what I was doing. I was really making a lot of excuses for the behavior, and it really was what it was. that was his mask was falling off. It wasn't that he was this great guy. It's just his mask was falling off, and he knew how to finesse his way with women. So and I fell for it. I fell for it. So another thing is, in this love bombing idealizations phase, the narcissist is really good with playing up your insecurities. So if you ever say things like, I have really big feet and I hate my big feet, the narcissist is going to tell you he loves it. I love your big feet. Oh, I just love your, I love. Or if you say, I'm getting gaining weight, I'm getting fat, I don't like it, I need to lose weight. No, you look great fat. And again, there are men who truly love their women no matter what. They love the insecurities about the things that their woman is insecure about. He loves it. So I'm not saying that is not true but in healthy relationships and authentic relationships, it's authentic. It's real. He really means it. The narcissist gets away with it because he comes off as if he really means it, but it's fake. It's fake. He doesn't mean it. He's just telling you that to keep you around, to keep you used to him complimenting you, because his mask is gonna fall off. It's gonna fall off, and when it does, you're not gonna be able to leave right away. That's what he wants. He wants you to where you're like, but he gives me all these compliments, these nice gifts. He's such a great guy. Well, he's just playing you. In most cases, that's what they're doing. They're playing you, and they don't. They have a shrewd ability to come off as genuine and authentic, but whether they're not, they're faking it and hoping you're buying what they're selling. So, we're gonna start with stage 2. So after the narcissist has done all this stuff to keep you on cloud 9, he's gonna start to devalue you. And he's going to start playing these games. And the second stage of that, of the relationship is, and it doesn't necessarily, and these stages don't necessarily flow as in, they're not concurrent. They can be in any order, but usually they'll happen around pretty much the same time. But they don't necessarily have to be in this order, chronological order. So, blame shifting. So what happens is the narcissist never wants to take responsibility for anything that they do and say. Again, because their ego is so fragile, they can't handle it. They're very hypersensitive to criticism or blame. And there are many times in the relationship that I was in where I would tell him, this is not okay. Like, there are things he was doing that just that should not happen in a relationship. And I would say, this isn't cool. Like, if you're here to visit, I understand that your family's here. I understand that you have friends here, but our relationship should be a priority, not an afterthought. And, we need to fix this. We need to find out. I'm so sorry about these notifications. Oh my gosh. I'm going to figure this out, you guys. And why can't it just seemed to him to be so hard for him to put me first. And even when he would say, I am putting you first, I'm like, you're not putting me first. You're not putting me first by stopping at your friend's house to have drinks. And on a Friday night, when I just specifically told you that I wanted us to, hey, let's go out on a Friday night. I get it that you're here visiting other people, but why can't I ever be a priority? You always have to do something with your friends first or your family first. And I'm not, I understood the whole dynamic of when he comes to visit, he has all these people that he needs to see, but I was never a priority in any of that. And people around me would notice it too. They were like, well, that's odd. And then sometimes they were like, I get it. He's here visiting. He has friends, he has family, he has all these people who want his, who are pulling on him. But I knew deep down inside, I was like, this isn't cool. And I would step back and I would say, I'm gonna be a little easy. I'm gonna go easy on him because he does have family and friends here who want to see him just as much as I do. I'm gonna go easy, but then it got to a point where it's like, no, this is becoming too It's just becoming too common, and I'm not going to keep dealing with this. And of course, when I would bring it up to his attention, then it was my fault, or I was being too hard on him and I wasn't understanding him. And then he would tell me that he was spending time with me, and what do you want from me? All that kind of stuff. So it was just, it was crazy. And if you even point out negative behaviors, they'll say, you're actually behaving that way. So if I tell I don't like it when you ignore me or give me the silent treatment when you're upset. Oh, I don't give you the silent treatment. Actually, it's you that gives me the silent treatment, because last time I was talking to you, it just becomes a cycle of just, you're trying to make sense of nonsense when it comes to the narcissist. And that's why so many people leave those relationships confused and bewildered and not knowing what the heck is going on, because the narcissist operates under confusion. They operate under they go out of their way to not understand, to misunderstand everything you say. So even when you're trying, you could be as honest and upfront, and you can point out whatever it is, they're going to misunderstand it. You can say, I didn't really mean it that way. This is what I was meaning it by. I'm sorry you're taking it that way. They're going to still misunderstand what you're saying, because that's how they get by. That's how they fool us. They turn the tables, and then they make it your fault. And then before you know it, you're apologizing to them. Before you know it, you're apologizing to them, because they're going to start making you the fall guy. You're at fault for the things for bringing up their faults. Crazy. And I also say in the blog, when I talk about blame shifting, sometimes the narcissist intentionally plays that blame shifting role because they have intentions of, they want to create this drama and division between you so that they can cheat. And oftentimes, it's a distraction of what they really want to do. So sometimes they'll even create an argument and blame you for something that you didn't do, or even if you did do it. Like, we're human, we make mistakes. So the narcissist will take what humanity, the human parts of us, they play off of our humanity, so they take advantage of that. So even if you have done something bad, and we all are human, we do things, we say things that we shouldn't say, we make mistakes. We all come from we all see model behavior from our parents or people that, loved ones growing up. So, nobody's perfect. But with the narcissist, he's perfect. He or she's perfect, but you're wrong. And if you do something to make them upset or make them feel bad, well, trust me, they're gonna pay you back. And usually the payback is in the form of them cheating, talking to other women. Just, they're delusional people. So what they'll do is they'll really play up your flaws, and they'll use that to justify what they're doing. So if he's talking to other women on social media, or when he goes out and he's blatantly cheating, he's blatantly, doing things that a person in a relationship should not do, he's justified it already because of something you did. So, and if he wants to cheat, or if he feels like, I really want to start talking to this new young lady, I'm just going to start creating these arguments, hoping that, she'll say something I don't like, and then I can just feel, I don't have to feel bad about what I'm about to do. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying it always happens, but for the most part, it does happen when the narcissist is creating these dramatic situations and silent treatment. It's they're on the other side of trying to cheat or trying to talk to other women, because they always have a supply of women. They always have a supply of women waiting in the wings for them to, in case things don't work out with you, or until, and then when they're ready to discard you, which I'll talk about later, they're going to have this supply of women that they can easily pick from, so they don't have to be alone for too long. So anyways, stage number 3 is manipulation. Narcissists are master manipulators. They have mastered the art of deception. And I go on to say in this blog, they play the victim when confronted with their behavior. The positive attributes that people admire about them is a facade. Narcissists deliberately portray themselves to be these great people to lure you into their trap of deception before their mask falls off. Even when their mask falls off, they continue their deceit and manipulation. Manipulation is a narcissist's way of controlling the people around them, especially their partner. The narcissist takes what you say and twists it around, leaving you bewildered and confused to the point where you don't even recognize what you've said. You don't recognize what you've said to them. The narcissist uses manipulation to play the victim, making you the problematic person. In reality, the narcissist starts the argument but will blame you for reacting to the horrible things they have said to you or the lies they speak during the conversation. They manufacture drama with the anticipation of you reacting and not responding. There is a difference. Negatively, and then use it against you. Narcissists do not have boundaries, and they don't recognize or accept the fact that others have boundaries, which is why they are habitual line crossers. This is very true. I dealt with a lot of manipulation in my last relationship, and I even called it out, and I would tell this person often, you're manipulating me. You're being manipulative. They're flipping things around, altering facts. They're altering even just the conversations we would have. And then I'd bring up a conversation. It'll be a good conversation. We'll bring it up again. He'll say, well, I don't remember having that conversation with you. And I'm like, well, I did talk to you about it. Well, it must have been another guy you were talking to because I don't remember that conversation. It's like, why does it have to be another guy that I said that to? All you have to say is, I don't remember that conversation. I just don't remember it. And I specifically remember talking to this person about the conversation. But even if you don't remember it, that's okay. But they was telling me, well, no, I don't remember that conversation, so you must have been talking to some other guy. And again, that's the tactic that they use because really what they're doing is talking to other women. They're the ones talking to other people. But they have to get that off of them, and they have to manipulate you into thinking that it's you, and that you won't dare think it's them doing something. Okay, stage number 4 is gaslighting. This is another common tactic that the narcissist will use. It's another form of manipulation. So what the goal of gaslighting is to get you into a state of doubt and where you are denying your own reality, your perception of things. So, so their goal is to get you in a state of doubt. And, we all have our way of looking at things. We have our own lens, our own perceptions of reality. The narcissist's goal is to strip you of whatever you've known to be true. So they'll gaslight you. And, not everybody sees things the same, and we get that. But what the narcissist does is they're trying to persuade you too. It's an art of influence that the narcissists use to make you feel like, oh, well, that maybe I didn't see it that way. They have this way of manipulating you into not believing your own reality. They'll tell you, no, that's not what happened. You didn't say that. This is what you said. And one instance when I was breaking up with this person, they told me that I said something that I didn't say, which is the reason why they were breaking up with me, and the reason why our relationship couldn't go any further, and I didn't say that because I don't talk like that. Like, I know I did not say that. Now, they might have taken it that way. They might have taken what I said and it might have sounded like I was implying something, but instead of them getting clarity or having a conversation, and as again, the blame shifting, instead of us having a conversation and saying, let's talk more about this. I don't want you to feel this way. If you feel like I'm doing this to you, but no, the narcissist is going to take, when they're ready to discard you, they will think of any and everything. They keep tally of everything that you do. So they're going to pull something out of their arsenal and say, this is what you did to me, and this is why I'm breaking up with you. And it could be something that happened, they'll start bringing up all the things that you did in the relationship, and this is all contributing to why they're breaking up with you. And meanwhile, there's already somebody else in the picture, but we're going to talk about that later. So gaslighting is pretty much the narcissist's way of getting you to deny. They're going to, and one tactic is to misinterpret. And like I said, they like to misunderstand everything you say. So this is a form of gaslighting. Oh, you can say, well, I didn't mean it that way. I was really trying to say they're still going to misinterpret. They're going to say that you said something else that you didn't say. Okay, stage 5. Triangulation. Triangulation is it's an abusive tactic. It's definitely abusive because what it happens is the narcissist is bringing another person, and it's typically an ex-girlfriend or an ex, one of their exes, or other people, family, friends, whoever, and and they get that person to get involved in the relationship as a means of attacking the person. So what a narcissist will do is, if he's with you, he'll start talking about his ex a lot. They'll talk about their exes, and my ex-girlfriend did this, or and one of the things that the person I was with did a lot, they like to relive these stories about that they had with their ex-girlfriends, and typically the ex before me. And it was really, really frustrating. It was very disheartening because I'm like, you're with me now, so why are you constantly talking about this other woman? Why is this woman, come on now. And if you're not over this person, perhaps you should really take some time to understand your relationship, understand why, things happen the way they did. Maybe you need some time alone, but no. This is a deliberate tactic used by the narcissist to get you for them to, okay, you're already the victim, but what they're doing is getting the victim to fight for that narc's love. So in the instance I was in, what happens is once he's telling you about this other woman, you're now feeling like you got to compete with her. Oh, okay, he's talking about her, I need to step my game up, or maybe I need to do better. Like if he's talking about something his ex-girlfriend did sexually in the bedroom, he's saying that for a reason, because now you have to compete. Now you got to be a 10 in the bedroom. This didn't happen to me, but I'm just saying this is one of the ways they'll do it. This is an example. But a lot of times the person I was with would always talk about their ex-girlfriends. Oh, yeah, I remember a story when me and this, and I knew who he was talking about. He would try to disguise it as if he was talking about just somebody in his, and I knew who he was talking about. But like I said, the narcissist likes to bring their exes, other people into the situation because they want you to fight for their love. If they know that you're insecure, or if they know that there's someone else who's vying for their attention and wants to be with them as well, or they'll even talk about, women that they work with. Like I know on several occasions in my last relationship, he was always talking about women at his job that liked him or that were doing things that gave him the impression that they liked him. And yet the same person would have a conniption if I even mention a guy looking at me or a guy saying anything to me. So these are, again, this is how they have this. Not only is it a triangulation, but it's definitely a double standard, because the narcissist is very insecure. So by them telling you that there are other people who are interested in you, that makes you get more, you have a heightened sense of, I need to be on my P's and Q's because, he has all these women who want to be with him. I got to be number one. So let me do all this extra stuff. And this is somebody, we're speaking of women and men in relationships who do not have the self-love that they need to get out of relationships like this. And I can honestly say that I didn't have self-love. I didn't put myself first. I was always putting the men in my relationships first because I felt like if I put him first and if I did all this stuff, he would love me more. So, a person with self-love, a healthy sense of self-love, self-confidence, knows who they are, they're not going to put up with stuff like this. And either they'll hear about their partner's exes and won't be fazed by it. They'll even hear about women at the job that and they'll be like, whatever. Or they might say, you know what, I don't care to hear about that. And if you're going to bring other people into our relationship, then maybe this is not the relationship for me because, I want to be respected. And it's all about personal preference. Like I understand some people can hear about exes and don't even care, and they're like, whatever. But if it bothers you, there's nothing wrong with speaking up on it. And there were times when I did speak up on it, but it turned into this crazy conversation slash argument that turned into just really unnecessary meanness and saying things that should not have been said. Oh, you're insecure, and I don't really care about my ex anymore, but you're making it about her. And the narcissist knows exactly what he's doing when he's bringing up these former partners. So that's why when they triangulate you, and even after you break up with them, they will try to come back, which is called hoovering. They'll come back to, and they'll already have somebody. They're already dating somebody. They're already, moved on with this person. They're love bombing and idealizing this new person. They'll come back with the intent of getting you back into their trap so they can talk about this new person to you, which makes you, again, if you still have feelings involved, you're going to start fighting for them, trying to get them back. So again, you're caught in this web of confusion. It's foolish because now it's you fighting with another woman, most likely. And I've heard several stories of women who have contacted the new woman in the narcissist's life, and the two of them start fighting. And that's what the narcissist wants. He wants you to fight with him. He wants with him, and he wants you to fight with the woman that he's with, because to him, these two women fighting over him means he is the man. This is a ego booster. He's going around telling his friends, yeah, my ex and such and such, they fighting, and she sent her, now, and he's also proving to her, the new person, that you are the crazy ex, because he's already told her you're the crazy ex, you're the girl that can't get over him. But what the narcissist has not told the new person is that he went back to the ex trying to get her to come back into his life. See, and that's the thing with the narcissist. He's not going to tell, the full story. He's going to tell half truths. If he's telling the truth at all, it's not going to be the full truth. He's going to leave some things out, and it's always going to be his part in it and his role in the confusion and madness that's happening. But in the meantime, he's enjoying you and this new person in his life, quote unquote new, because she's probably been in the picture for a while. But he is enjoying the two of you fighting. Okay, so next one is number 6, the silent treatment. In my last relationship, I dealt with this a lot, and it's all of these stages are abusive, but this one is abusive because what the narcissist is trying to do is render you completely useless to him. You don't have any value to him when he's giving you the silent treatment. And in my situation, it was long distance, so it was worse, because you're trying to call this person, you're trying to text them, trying to get their attention, and they're totally ignoring you. But then you'll see them on Facebook, they'll be active on Facebook, and they're commenting and liking, social media statuses of people that, mutual friends, whatever, or they're updating their status. So they know what they're doing. They're intentionally not speaking to you, and they're intentionally not engaging with you for the purpose of punishing you. And in my blog, I state this, the following. The narcissistic silent treatment is one of the most commonly used tactics. The narcissist resorts to the silent treatment as a means of teaching you a lesson. They are punishing you for something you did or said to them that they did not like. It can happen at any time for any reason. The narcissist maneuvers their way through life with the intent of misunderstanding everything you say and do, and this gives them the right of way in just about every conversation or argument involving them. They intentionally hear something different and will use it against you to justify the reason for not speaking to you. So as I mentioned earlier, they intentionally they misunderstand what you're saying for this purpose as well, to give you the silent treatment. Oh, I'm going to misunderstand what she's saying because now I cannot speak to her, and then I can go and speak to these other women I'm dealing with, and this is my justification for not speaking to her because she said something I don't like, so now I don't have to speak to you. It's punishment. It's to teach you a lesson. I will never forget when I first started dating my last partner, is he would do things to teach me a lesson. Like one time he canceled a trip. I was scheduled to come out there to see him, and we got into it, and he didn't like what I said, so he canceled me going out there, and that was to teach me a lesson. And that was my first, probably my first major red flag, and I should have walked away then. I should have moved on, because that showed me that that's the way he deals with issues in relationships. That's how he deals with things, and he likes to punish you. And it was an act of revenge as well. I don't like what you said. I don't like what you said to me. So now I'm going to teach you a lesson. I'm not going to see you, and you can't come here to visit me now. And it's cowardly. It's very cowardly, because you can be mad, you can be upset, but when you start doing things like that, you're showing your partner that you don't have the ability to, you don't have the emotional intelligence to say, you know what, I would like for us to get this straight before you come here to visit. Or when you come here to visit, we can talk about what happened, and face to face that way. And that was my, I understood that, hey, you know what, I need to probably chill out a little bit. But I also understood that a lot of what was happening was the narcissist manufacturing this drama. So I was reacting to a lot of the stuff that he was doing. And I will say there were times when I was overreacting because of my own insecurities and my own issues. That's why a lot of times I felt like, okay, I could have probably chilled out or been a little less abrasive. So like I said, I'm very well aware of my actions and the things that I did in this relationship that contributed to what was already going on. So again, the narcissist wants to render you completely invalid to them. You have no value. They want to make you feel useless. They want to make you feel like you're not important by giving you the silent treatment. And they intensify this by going on social media, posting stuff. You see them, talking to other people on social media. And he did that a lot. I'm gonna have conversations with other people. And it wasn't necessarily women, but it was just people. You would see that they're communicating with them, and it was just crazy. It was really crazy. And it made me feel really badly, and it made me feel like, wow, we can't even, and most of the time the things that we were arguing about was so minute. It was so small. And that was another reason why I felt like, wow, you are going to go through all of these different channels and different, levels of abusive behaviors to teach me a lesson. And all you're doing is creating, and again, I should have walked away, because it was really a sign of where this person was at emotionally and mentally. I don't believe that anybody deserves, unless a person is being completely out of order. And if you have to go through through those lengths of canceling trips and not speaking to the person, then you need to reevaluate if this relationship is for you. But that's not what the narcissist does. A healthy person would. A healthy person would say, you know what, I feel like this person, we're not communicating effectively. This is a toxic relationship that I need to move away from. But the narcissist will not do that. The narcissist is going to stay in that relationship because he's getting something out of it as well. Excuse me. And drama is one of them. Drama is one of the things that the narcissist gets pleasure out of. So, and if you want to read more about the silent treatment, you can read that on my blog, www.thehonestaquarian.com. And I speak about the silent treatment and just what happens in that phase of the relationship. And you can also read more about it on, there's a website, psychologytoday.com. That's another good resource for understanding and unpacking narcissism. So let's go to 7, the new target. The new target is also called the new supply. And this is the new person, quote unquote new person, that the narcissist is suddenly with. They suddenly appear after you've broken up with your ex-narcissist. So they're not new. They've actually been in the picture for a while. And this is a person that the narcissist has been talking to through social media, private messages, DMs, Instagram, liking her pictures, liking everything she posts. The narcissist has, completely given all of his, he's now giving all of his attention to this new person. And he's going to, again, he's starting the first phase of the relationship, which is a love bombing and idealization. He's starting this phase, the first initial phase, with her. So now he's telling her how pretty she is. He's telling her how much he wants to get with her. He might even tell her, I'm in a relationship right now. I'm trying to get out of it, because my ex is this and that. And by telling you all these bad things about the ex, it's giving her this glimmer of hope that she is someone who can change his life from bad to good. So even though he's technically cheating on his current partner by even talking to you or talking to the new target, and some people might not consider that cheating, but I consider it to be a very dishonest. I consider it cheating, and I consider it to be very dishonest, because if you can't talk to your woman or your man about what's going on in the relationship, but you're going to a third party and telling her all these things about your relationship, and if the relationship is that bad, break up. I know it's hard, and I know it's difficult to tell somebody that you once loved or maybe still love, this isn't working for me. We argue too much. We fight too much. You've said things that hurt me. I want to move on. I want to date other people. You don't even have to say that. I want to move on. That's your choice. As a human being, you have a choice. I don't want to be in this relationship no more. But what the narcissist is doing, he's trying to see if the grass is greener. So he's going to keep his foot in one door, and he's going to be keeping the other one in the new door with the new target to see how that goes. And trust me, I know. So while the narcissist is talking to the new target and telling her, how beautiful she is and how he's in a bad relationship, he's still got his foot in the other door. He's still talking to his ex or his current girlfriend at the time if they're still together. So, the new target, she's not new. She just might appear that way to you and other people, and not even to other people, because he's talking to his friends and family about her too. Most of the time, his friends. He could be talking to his family about it too, but also, mind you, when he's telling you or telling his family and friends about you, he's telling them all of these bad things that you're doing to him. So you're looking like the bad guy, and when the new target does come into the picture, he doesn't look like the cheater that he is. He looks like the guy that is just trying to find love, and he went about it the best way he could, and that was by finding someone else that treats him better. Because you, the ex, treated him so poorly. He's not going to tell his family that he created most of the drama in that relationship. He's not going to tell his family that he intentionally created drama so that he can talk to this new person because he got bored with the relationship. Or, the ex finally caught on to the fact that he's playing games and she's no longer going to play by his rules. And the narcissist is also going to do this when you're in a bad state, in a bad position. I was going through one of the worst times of my life. And this person was creating a new situation with someone else. Totally denies it, but the facts are there. See, I'm not saying anything that's not factual. What I'm telling you is facts. These are things that I have proven. So, again, these are things that are proven. There's evidence showing that you and this person you were connecting with this person at one of the most traumatic and most devastating times during my life. So, moving on to social media. In my blog, I discuss social media, and this is the narcissist playground, and this is where 99.9% of their stable of supply resides. Social media is like it's the new platform for dating and getting to know people. You don't have to go to clubs, bars. You don't even have to do those matchmaker dating. I'm trying to think of what it is when people meet up and they kind of get to know, they have a line of candidates and they get to know those people, or networking, that kind of stuff. You can just go on Facebook and see all your female friends, male friends, and you're already getting a glimpse into their life and how they are. Social media is an extension of who we are. And when people say social media isn't real, social media is very real. There's evidence, research evidence, saying how there's a huge number, and I can't remember the exact number, so I'm paraphrasing, but there's a very large number of relationships that have ended due to infidelity via social media. Me and my ex got together via social media. That's how we spent an enormous amount of time getting to know each other through social media and texting before we actually saw each other in person. So the facts are there. Social media is not what it used to be, where you just connected with people and just said hey, and you just saw pictures of their trips and their children. People are now, this is like a dating website now. So you don't have to go on Match.com. You can just go on social media. I can't tell you how many times I've had people hit my instant message and try to get a date with me, ask for my number, because that's just it's quick access. It's very quick access. You don't have to wait till you go on a date with somebody to get to know them. Hey, I'm gonna just go into your inbox. I can get to know you that way. And like I said earlier, with the new target in social media, this is what the narcissist is starting to do now. Everything she's posting, he's liking. She posts a new profile picture, he likes it. She posts something about work, he likes it. Everything she posts, the narcissist likes, because he has now become a fan, quote unquote fan of this person. He's getting her attention and letting her know. And this is also part of the love bombing phase. He knows that by constantly, he's getting her attention. Again, like I said, this happened to me. He's getting her attention by liking all of your pictures and commenting, saying these little things here and there. Meanwhile, he has a girlfriend, but he's grooming the new target as well during this stage, because he's liking all of her pictures, liking all of her posts. And sometimes, in some cases, the narcissist wants their new person, that wants their ex or their current girlfriend to see this, because this is another form of triangulation. If I can get you to see that I'm liking other women's pictures, you're going to get upset. That shows you love me if you're getting upset, because you know that strokes my ego. Oh, she's getting upset that I like this girl's picture. And that happened a lot too, because Facebook tells on people now. Well, it used to. Not so much now. The algorithms keep changing, but there used to be a time where I would scroll on Facebook and it would show where my ex was liking pictures, selfies of women, and it's just like, come on now. Why can't you just scroll past it? You just have to like it, huh? And then I would confront him, and then it would turn into this, well, it's not real. So that was his favorite saying, social media isn't real. But the very person that he's with now is social media. But anyways, I digress. I'm just telling you how this all plays out. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm not trying to bash anybody. I'm not still bothered or hurt by anything. It's just I want to help other people understand, and the best way I feel is through my own experience and telling it like it is. And I'm running kind of short on time here, so I want to get through these last few stages, because I don't want this podcast to be over an hour and a half. I'm already over an hour. And okay, so also to add to this whole social media piece, one of the biggest disservices you can do for yourself as someone who's trying to move past it is to look at his social media or hers. By looking at your ex's or his new girlfriend's social media, all that does is set you back. It's not worth it. And all it does, and again, although social media may be real in some aspects, pictures are, people can post pictures showing how happy they are. And I've seen this, and I've even felt this. You can look at a picture and be like, he's treating her better than he's treating me. He's doing this and that. And that's how people get caught up in thinking that the narcissist is treating their new person better than them, is because they're looking at these pictures. And even the narcissist will even tell you that the other person, is better than you. And that might be so. Maybe the other person does do for them what you didn't do for them, but that does not take away your value. That doesn't mean that you didn't deserve to be treated better. That doesn't mean that you deserve to be mistreated. So don't let the narcissist fool you and the new person, because a lot of times she knows who you are and she's trying to prove something too. If she's into that, if she's allowing the narcissist to brainwash her into thinking that you're trying to come in between them, she'll pull some stuff too. She'll play along with his game as well. She'll do things. She'll cyber stalk, send messages. I'm just saying, over in general, this can happen. Because I've heard stories of women who have been in relationships where the narcissist has broken up with them and the narcissist has gotten with somebody else. And now now the new girl is contacting the ex. The ex is contacting the new girl, and it's just a bunch of mess. All because the narcissist has gone on to tell the new girl about how you're a threat to their relationship. So now he gets the new girl to do his dirty work while he sits back and does, and plays the innocent guy who's just, caught in between two women. It's all in the narcissist's game plan. All these stages that I'm talking about, it's a mental tactic that they use on you to get you to believe that what you really is to get you to believe that they are better off without you, that they are superior to you. And if you're not strong enough mentally to move past it, it will destroy you. And thankfully, I had enough self-love and self-awareness to understand that I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. So yes, it might hurt to know that he's moved on so quickly after our relationship has ended, but that says a lot about him. That says a lot about him and his coping mechanisms for dealing with breakups and loss. Because a person that's really trying to get themselves together will take some time off and say, you know what, I'm not going to get into a new relationship so soon after just getting out of one. Even if you're over it and you're over that person, you still need time to just say, you know what, let me figure things out for me. What is it about me? What can I learn from this last relationship so I don't do this again? But when you don't feel like you've done anything wrong, then then you'll get into another relationship quickly without, and sometimes even when people do this to cover up their hurt, so they can still have feelings for their ex, but they want to move on so quickly that they don't want to feel it. So they'll get this new person involved, and she's pretty much a Band-Aid. Because the same things are going to occur in that relationship that occurred in the last one. But when you're a narcissist, you're just repeating these cycles. Give or take a few other ones. But you're repeating these cycles. Okay, so moving on. Holidays. And we are currently in our Christmas holiday, New Year's. And the reason why I added the holidays is because this is the time of the year where the narcissist really they really get beyond themselves. Like, they do a whole lot of the stages that I've described, they intensify it and they get really nasty. They get really ugly. Unless he's in the love bombing phase, he's going to do any and everything he can to disarm his partner and to make her feel worthless. And one of the ways of doing that is around the holidays. The holidays is the time of year where most couples are, and it's really, loving, spending time together, spending time with each other's families, shopping for gifts. And that was one of my favorite things. I love giving gifts, and I love one of my love languages is gift giving. So that was a great time for me is the holidays. And I can just remember in this particular relationship where the holidays there was always something complicated going on with this person. They were always, it was just, it just, the holidays weren't as happy as I felt they should have been in a relationship, but I would kind of convince myself that they were. And because of the long distance, I convinced myself that, with long distance, you're going to have your ups and downs. And because you're not with that person all of the time, you're going to have these moments, especially when he couldn't make it for holidays and I wasn't out there. It was just, I took it initially as, oh, this is just a part of long distance relationships and not so nice part of it. But really, it was the narcissist being the narcissist. They intentionally do things to where they're gonna do things to create drama on the holidays, and they're gonna try to make your holiday as miserable as possible. And one of those things that they do is they cause arguments, of course. They might, instead of, and again, silent treatment, you guys get into an argument. So I'm not going to speak to you now. Now, to intensify that, I'm not going to send you a gift. I'm not going to do anything nice for you during the holidays because I know this will make you feel bad. I know this will make you feel sad during a time that's supposed to be happy, during a time that's supposed to be, fun and exciting. And thankfully, I have great family. Like, both sides of my family are awesome. Like, I've been blessed with an awesome family. So during those times when the narcissist would, do things that I felt were intentionally trying to hurt me, I had family. So I was able to go to my family, have a blast. Even though I would miss him, being around him for the holidays, I was still, able to at least have a good time with my family. And I had some really great people in my corner to support me. So again, and not everybody has that. And I recognize that everybody doesn't have that support system. So many times they're spending the holidays alone because the narcissist has determined, they've determined that they're going to make this holiday or whatever occasion it is, they're going to do something bad to hurt you, to make you feel like you're not worthy of being treated well for this special time of year that's designated for family, for your love, your partner, your significant other, whatever you call it. And and to add to that, narcissists love to ruin milestones like anniversaries, graduations, anything significant in your life that's a celebratory occasion. They want to ruin it because, for one, it puts the focus back on them, and two, they want to hurt you because that's their whole MO, is to hurt you and to make you feel bad. Because they get something out of it. They get off on hurting you and making others feel bad. Because they feel bad inside. They hate happiness. They hate any kind of you doing anything good in your life. They hate it. They'll forget your birthday. For Valentine's Day, they'll go and do some off the wall stuff. And I can go into detail, but I'm not, because I just feel like I don't want to keep, I won't go into details on the specifics of some of the things that happened in my last relationship that happened on holidays. But what I will say is that now that I understand what this person is dealing with, and now that I understand this person is dealing with narcissistic personality disorder, I believe that's what they're dealing with. I can see why they did what they did. Doesn't make it okay, but I see why they did it. Because that's what you do. That's what you do when you're a narcissist. At the time, I didn't understand it, so of course I'm going crazy. I'm an emotional wreck. I'm going off on them. But now I understand that this is someone who's dealing with a condition that they feel that destroying or ruining important events in my life was something that made them feel good. And it's all calculated. It's all planned out. So let's get to 10, lack of empathy. Narcissists do not have empathy. They lack empathy. However, they will show fake empathy because they know that's the socially acceptable thing to do. But it's not always. It doesn't come from a good place, a genuine place. It comes from, like I said, fake. It's not genuine. It's not authentic. Because if you tell them something bad has happened and they don't show that concern, they're gonna go back and say, I told such and such that my cat died and he just didn't care. He doesn't want that message going out that he doesn't care. But there will come a time where he does not care what the message is. He just will show that he does not care. And that's usually towards the discard phase. When he's ready to discard you, he doesn't care at all. He doesn't care at all. But even when they're with you, you can lose a pet, you can lose a loved one. They just don't have the ability to empathize like mentally healthy individuals do. Now, for most of us who are empathetic, someone says that the partner says that they had a loved one die, we're going to be very empathetic. We're going to be sympathetic. We're going to, try to console that person. We're going to try to be, like I said, the difference between the covert narcissist and an actual person who is being empathetic is the narcissist is faking it, which is really hard, which is why a lot of people end up so devastated after relationships with a narcissist, is because the narcissist has pretty much faked it. They thought the narcissist was being real and the narcissist was faking it the whole time. Narcissists do not have the ability to process emotions like we do. So they're very selfish people. So they're not going to care about what's going on in your life. And if you call them out on it, they'll get upset because now you've accused them of doing something, which they are doing, but they're going to get upset now. You've called me out on not being empathetic. So now I got to teach you a lesson. Now I'm not going to speak to you. See how it all, it's just it's just going on. The cycle just continues. It's a never ending cycle. So, I think we're at lack of empathy. And I did some bonus stages too, because I just picked 12 because I didn't want the blog to be extremely long. But you can go on my website, www.thehonestoquarian.com, to hear about the bonus stages that I added, which was the discard, and which was also and I'll go ahead and talk about this last one, the gift. And what I say in that particular piece is one of the greatest gifts that the narcissist can give to us as people who are trying to overcome or who have overcome narcissistic abuse is for them to leave. That's the best gift they can give you. And initially it hurts. Initially it feels like you are going to die, because the ideal of what you thought that person was, you're combating with the idea of who that person was, the ideal person that you thought they were, and also, is idea or ideal? The idea of the person, the person that you thought they were, and who they've shown you to be. And I struggled with that because on one end, this person was this great man who had great redeeming qualities. But on the other hand, I saw at the end of our breakup, I saw this person who I felt like, wow, if he's doing this to her, the new person, I can only imagine what he was doing behind my back. So that was the final moment where I was like, I'm glad that this is over. It hurts right now. I'm in pain, but I can't trust him. What I discovered later on, I'm like, wow. And the fact that he was still trying to keep me around, even though he's admitted that this person is, moving on with this person. But why, you told me that I was this, and this, and when we talked, you wanted to meet up and talk. We talked face to face about what was going on, and you told me how bad I treated you, but yet you want to keep me around as your friend for what? Why do I want to be your friend if I'm such a bad person? But then I realized that was part of his plan, was to keep me around. And while he's dealing with this new person, he was going to keep me around for whatever his purpose was for that. Most likely a plan B. In case the new person didn't work out, he had somebody else he could come back to without having to start over. And I wasn't going to accept that. I wasn't going to be anybody's plan B, and I knew enough. Like I said, I had enough self-love and self-awareness and cared enough about myself to where I was like, I'm not going to be your plan B, and I don't love you that much to the point where I'm going to be a sucker and fall for this. And I really kind of felt bad for the new person because I'm like, she doesn't even realize what he's doing. She's probably thinking he's a great guy like I did. But he's her deal now. I had to focus on myself and healing, and what was the best thing that could ever happen to me. It was the best thing that could have ever happened to me was to find myself, to love myself, and to move on without this person in my life. And I can't imagine where I would be if he was still in my life. And I'm not trying to bash him or say anything mean, but it's the truth. I had so much stuff that I had to resolve within myself, my own issues. And here I am taking on somebody else's issues. Not only issues, but these are serious issues. These aren't just these are things that can really destroy a person. And a lot of times we don't see it and we don't recognize it. We just want that person because it's what we thought who we thought that person was going to be or who we thought they were. And really they weren't. They weren't for us. We deserve better. And that's what I had to come to terms with. I deserve better. I deserve better. So when the narcissist leaves, accept it. Accept it. Because it's a sign that it's time for you to heal. It's time for you to move forward. And I know there's people who say they struggled for years trying to get past the abuse. And, and I think what I went through, while it was difficult, it wasn't as difficult as a lot of the stories I hear, because some of these people were married to the narcissist and they have children with the narcissist, and their lives are just totally in shambles because of the narcissist, and they're trying to heal. They're trying to move forward. They're trying to get back on their feet. So, everybody's story is going to be different. Even though when I exchange my story with other people, the similarities are so strong. One person I know, they're like, we sound like we were dating the same person. And then me being the sarcastic person that I am, the cynical person I am, we probably were. But, I know most likely we weren't. But sometimes it feels that way. Sometimes it feels like you are, and other people that you share your story with, you're dating the same person. Because they all follow the same script for the most part. We just have different, experiences in other areas. But, those are the 12 stages. And I think I might have missed one because I'm running short on time. But the other stage was, let's see. Yeah, I think I did all 12 of them? Let's see, 10, 11. Yeah, I think I did. They're just worded differently. Okay, so I'm sorry, you guys. I'm not meaning to fiddle around with that. But anyways, thank you for listening. We're down to the 2 minutes before it's an hour and a half. So thanks for listening. I do plan on doing another blog 2018, the first part of January. And it's going to be, I had some feedback from a lot of the people that read the blog, and they want to know, how do you move on from the narcissist? How do you, recover? So that'll be the next blog, is talking about how to recover after you've been in a narcissistic relationship, or a relationship with a narcissist, or abusive relationship with a narcissist. And I'm just going to give you some pointers and some tips that I went through and had to go through to get to this point. And we're just going to talk about that and probably go into some other details about just recovering, because that's what the focus really should be, is recovering, moving forward, so that you don't go back into those types of relationships ever again. So thanks for listening. And you can also find me on Facebook at The Honest Aquarian, one word, and IG at The Honest Aquarian, and my website, once again, www.thehonestaquarian.com. Thank you for listening.